For more reaction to Coinbase's results and the state of crypto, let's bring in Anthony Pompliano, founder of Pomp Investments. Anthony, great to have you with us.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me back.
I want to get to Dan's provocative statement, and that is that the centralized platform is an on-ramp to a decentralized DeFi world, like Ethereum, financing that world, which could potentially disintermediate the centralized platform. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's too hard to predict kind of exactly how this will play out, but it's very clear that there's going to be decentralized financial applications in the future, and there will still be centralized applications as well. I think it'll be a coexistence world. I don't think that most of the large financial institutions on Wall Street are ready to go into any sort of decentralized applications. They're still worried about things like custody or security, potential hacks, et cetera. But I do think that we are going to see both of those worlds thrive in the future. And really what we're watching here is Coinbase can't predict the future because nobody can predict how the world is going to price these assets, right? If the world continues to price these assets higher in the future, Coinbase will do really well. If the world all of a sudden decides to reverse the trend and kind of abandon the assets, then Coinbase won't do well. But I think that most people in the industry believe, 10 years out from now, the industry will be much, much bigger and the market caps of the individual assets will be much bigger. And that'll likely serve as a great tailwind for a business like Coinbase.
Do you own any Coinbase?
I do. Through one of our funds, we were an investor in the private market and continue to hold majority of it into the public market.
But for the viewers out there who, let's say they don't hold either, and they've got, I don't know, let's say $100,000 to put someplace, where would that be? Would it be in shares of Coinbase, or would that be in Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Yeah, I think it really is what you're trying to optimize for. It's hard to give kind of, one size fits all advice there.
We're trying to optimize returns.
Well, here's what I mean by that is when you're trying to optimize for returns, right? It's kind of like asking, should you invest in gold or the gold miners? One has cash flow and one is the actual underlying performance of the asset. What we do know is that in the earliest stages of the private market, the equity of companies in the space have outperformed the actual liquid asset like Bitcoin. But we don't have as much historical data on the publicly traded companies. Is it more likely that Bitcoin doubles in price or Coinbase doubles in price? My guess, if I had to, is that Bitcoin is much more likely to double in price. It's a large number, right? Coinbase is already a $56 billion business, give or take. For it to get to $100, $200 billion is going to be pretty hard. For Bitcoin to go to $100 or $200,000, I think is a much easier path and much more likely to happen, this year. So on a shortened time frame than, let's say, Coinbase doing that through the end of this year as well.
Hey, Anthony, it's Tim. We're talking about this decline in the retail fee rate. How do you see Coinbase increasing their retail take? What products, or is it just moving down the curve in terms of less liquid crypto products that come through?
Yeah, I think every single one of these businesses that's in any sort of transactional, kind of product offering, they're all going to get commoditized to some degree. That's just what happens with competition. I think there's something like 400 crypto exchanges around the world at this point. And so naturally competition will drive down some of those fees. With that said, they're going to keep pushing out into other products. And you see that whether it's Coinbase, in the private market, you see companies like BlockFi, where we're an investor, et cetera, they all keep pushing into newer and newer products. We are still at the nascent kind of era of this industry. And so in the traditional financial system, every single financial asset and service or product that you have there, that's going to get rebuilt in this digital financial economy. And so these are the companies, these market leaders are the companies that are going to do that. It just takes time. It takes engineering kind of effort to do. And I think that's what we're watching is Coinbase isn't that old, right? I think Coinbase was started in like 2013, 2014. So it's less than 10 years old. And we're already talking about a $50+ billion business. And I think that you just got to give it some time for them to push out into those other products, but they eventually will. And that'll lead to even more revenue generation in the future.
Pomp, would you use any of your Bitcoin to buy a movie ticket or popcorn?
I talked about this earlier today. If I'm AMC CEO, I don't know if he's watching. He seems to be a fan of you all. You should accept Bitcoin. I think that's a good idea. I will not be buying movie tickets with Bitcoin. I don't think most people will. But I think AMC should take some of the money on the balance sheet. I think they get over $1.5 billion. They should buy Bitcoin. And that would be the real conviction bet. You want to kind of appeal to your shareholder base. You want to explain to people that you understand where the world's moving. Go buy Bitcoin, put it on your balance sheet. And I think that they'll get kind of the impact they're looking for, not just from accepting Bitcoin for movie tickets, but that's kind of the really high conviction bet. And I think they got the cash to do it.
So you think it's symbolic? this is symbolic. It's not really about people using Bitcoin to buy a movie ticket.
If I told you that you had an asset that continued to appreciate at 150 to 200% compound annual growth over a decade, and it likely wasn't going to slow down too much from that over the next couple of years, would you use it to buy movie tickets? Probably not. And so I think they understand that, but I also think they understand who their shareholder base is. And so why not enjoy some of the upside or the potential upside along with your shareholder base? Go buy the Bitcoin, put it on your balance sheet, tell everyone you did it. And I think that it'll end up being a pretty good move for them.
Pomp, thanks so much. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Anthony Pompliano. Karen, that was my first thought this morning or last night when I heard the news about AMC taking Bitcoin, is that it would go on the balance sheet.
Okay. If you're the lender to AMC, I think they have a term loan, I think they have some debt. If you're the lender, you got to be going berserk.
Right.
If they were going to consider anything remotely close to. But I don't know, maybe they never put that in because it never entered their mind, the lender.
You mean as a
covenant or
covenant.
That no, can't buy Bitcoin. Maybe they just didn't foresee that. They will now.
Yeah. Tim, where do you stand on Coinbase?
Again, I love the audience. I love the first mover advantage. I'm less concerned about the decline in the retail take because I just think that there's going to continue to be a growing addressable market here, and I think there will be products. So, look, I think heavy correlation right now to meme stocks, and Robinhood and Coinbase chart that correlation. I mean, that R-squared is going to be, I think, reasonably high for the next year or so. But I think the long-term future, this is not my space. This is a company that's going to continue to evolve. Think about how far ahead of the pack they were on the technology and on the space to begin with. I don't think they're suddenly going dumb over there. I think they're going to be there.
What's your take on the chart of AMC, Guy, given it was up 10% pre-market and then finished the day down 6%?
Doesn't trade particularly well, and now I'm going to get the hate tweets are coming at me.
Sorry to set you up for that.
But, you know,
we got to ask the question, though.
No, no, look, it's fine. It's fair. I mean, AMC, I saw the interview. I mean, balance sheet wise, I guess you could say they're in a great position. But the bottom line is they're in a failing business. I mean, you can't get around that. Now, if they go out and make acquisitions or if they put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, regardless of covenants that are out there, I think we're having a much different conversation about the stock. But the business is clearly doesn't warrant wherever the stock is trading right now. I'll say this quick about Coinbase. Where are you sitting? You're at the NASDAQ. I know that answer because that's
Times
good
Square,
lawyers
yes.
always know the answer to the questions they ask. But you got to riddle me this. Maybe Coinbase is a $70 billion company. It's worthy of that. Then NASDAQ's got to be worth a lot more than the $30 billion it's traded at. So I just think that things have gotten a little out of whack here. And, you know, if Coinbase is viable at $70 billion, then names like the NASDAQ should be worth a lot more, in my opinion.